الله وحده لا شريك له واشهد ان محمدا عبده ورسوله يا ايها الذين امنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن الا وانتم مسلمون يا ايها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحده وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والارحام ان الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا ايها الذين امنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم اعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما اما بعد فان اصدق الحديث كتاب الله واحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الامور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Today, because of our surroundings and because of what we are exposed to from a very early age until we work and after our school lives, because of the many filth and disobedience and transgression that we are surrounded by, we become desensitized toward those things. We grew up in an environment of disobedience, an environment of others worshiping, of people worshiping others besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, an environment that has normalized many sins and transgression and many things that angers Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and without even realizing it and without even knowing it, we do not be affected by what we see and what we hear, being affected in a way that we feel ashamed as a Muslim, being affected in a way that we fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that because of what is happening, maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send His punishment against us. And from among those things is the worst of all sins, without any comparison. And that is associating partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throughout the Quran in many places, He emphasized the seriousness of this action, the seriousness of associating partners with Him, the seriousness of disbelieving in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says in Surah Rahman, or in Surah Maryam, وَقَالُوا اتَّخَذَ الرَّحْمَنُ وَلَدًا لَقَدْ جِئْتُمْ شَيْئًا إِدًّا تكاد السماوات يتفطرن منه وتنشق الأرض وتخر الجبال هدا أن دعوا للرحمن ولدا وما ينبغي للرحمن أن يتخذ ولدا إن كل من في السماوات والأرض إلا آتي الرحمن عبدا لقد أحصاهم وعدهم عدا وكلهم آتيه يوم القيامة فردا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says about the disbelievers, and they say that they are Rahman, that the most merciful, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, has taken a son. لَقَدْ جِئْتُمْ شَيْئًا إِدَّا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, you have indeed brought forth a terrible evil thing, whereby the heavens almost split, and the earth almost cleft, and the mountains almost fall and crumble because of what you have brought forth, because of this statement of associating partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إن كل من في السماوات والأرض إلا آتي الرحمن عبدا. Everyone in the heavens and the earth, they are only servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has made full count of each one of them, and everyone will come before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as individuals on the day of judgment, without anyone by his side. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describing the severity of this action and the severity of associating partners with Him, that the heavens and the earth and the mountains, they all almost crumbled and become destroyed because of what mankind has claimed against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the state of the heavens and the earth and the state of the mountains. But when you look at the state of mankind, we have no sensitivity towards the disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and no sensitivity on top of that towards associating partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We find ourselves looking at shows and movies and drama whereby people are worshipping others besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we are being entertained by it. You find your children looking at shows whereby so-called gods are fighting each other. Ta'ala Allahu amma yaquluna uluwan kabira. And we show no sensitivity towards that, and we are not bothered by it. And we look at shows, and we allow our children to look at shows and movies and cartoons in which others are acting as if they are God, and human beings are portraying themselves as if they are God and as if they are the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we sit there and we are being entertained and we laugh and we make joke, and it doesn't bother us, whereby the heavens and the earth and the mountains, they all almost became destroyed because of what mankind are claiming against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, describing the believers and describing His true servants, when He say, وَعِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ, mentioning the slaves and the servants of Ar-Rahman, and among their description, وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَشْهَدُونَ Az-Zur, they are among those, from their description, is that they do not witness and they do not participate and they do not be in the presence of Az-Zur. وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَشْهَدُونَ Az-Zur. And this word yashhadun, it carries more than one meaning. From amongst it is witnessing and seeing in a way of participating and taking part in what is happening. The servants of Ar-Rahman, they do not even witness They do not put themselves in the presence of Az-Zur. And Az-Zur is every falsehood. Everything false is Az-Zur. And as the scholars from amongst the Zur that the scholars they mention, as Ibn Kathir he mentioned in his tafsir, that many of the scholars of tafsir, they said from Zur, from falsehood, is participating in the a'yad of the mushrikeen, participating in the celebration and the festivals of the disbelievers. And that is from the greatest Zur, is for someone to celebrate the associating of partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. From the greatest Zur is not only to just lie against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with regards to His greatest right, and that is to worship Him alone, but also you celebrate and you have a good time and you enjoy yourself with regards to this great and evil and grave sin against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says also describing these servants, وَإِذَا مَرُّوا بِاللَّغْوِ مَرُّوا كِرَامًا. When they pass by anything of which there is no benefit, they pass by honorably. So what about them pass buying something? Not only it is of no benefit, but it is the greatest sin. It is from the greatest transgression against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from the greatest insult against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You pass by those who are celebrating the disobedience of Allah, celebrating worshipping others besides Allah, celebrating the birth of who they call the son of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is from the greatest statement against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, celebrating worse than that, festivals of shaitan, of the devil, festivals of paganisms, festival of idolatry, and you enjoy yourself, and you take a picture, and you take a selfie, and you have your children making and enjoying themselves with these things. You are doing worse than just participating in something of which there is no benefit. Rather, you are participating and enjoying that which is cursed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that which invoke the wrath and the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. We ask the brothers inshallah ta'ala to make room for your brothers inshallah. Their brothers coming in, and also their space downstairs in the rooms downstairs inshallah ta'ala. As we all know that we are coming upon a season of these pagan festivals, and these festivals of disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Within a few days and even a few weeks and months, there will be many festivals and celebration that has nothing to do with Islam. And many of these festivals and celebration, they are based upon these great and severe statements against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And right around the corner is the famous festival or celebration of Halloween. And it is very well known the roots of this festival. And it links to paganism and Satanism and all evil. and everything that goes against the principles of Islam, the fundamental principle of the Islamic belief of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala having a partner, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being in control of life and death, of our belief of death, and that no soul shall return to this earth after it has died, and many other things that are very well known and very well spread amongst the people, and even the disbelievers themselves and the followers of other faiths and religion, they themselves have acknowledged this, and they themselves are calling their people against this thing. So why is it you find many Muslims trying to find a reason to participate in these festivals when not only it has no link to Islam, but it linked to everything that angers Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Many Muslims, unfortunately, they make so much effort to please the disbelievers, so much effort to look moderate in the eyes of the disbelievers, and they care less about how they look in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, لَتَتَّبِعُنَّ السُّنَنَ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ شِبْرًا بِشِبْرٍ وَذِرَاعًا بِذِرَاعٍ حَتَّى لَوْ دَخَلُوا فِي جُحْرِ ضَبٍّ لَاتَّبَعْتُمُوهُمْ. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said that indeed you, the Muslims, you will tread the path of those who are before you, inch by inch and arm length by arm length, until if they were to enter into the hole of a lizard, you will enter into that hole. So much so you will want to be like those people. And when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asked, are they the Jews and the Christians? He said, who else? And who else are the Muslims being crazy to follow their footsteps in this time except the Jews and the Christians? And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, describing the extent of which they will want to be like these people, even if they were to enter into the hole of a lizard, they will enter into that hole. Anything they see them doing, they will want to do it, and they will want to follow their footsteps out of love for them and wanting to gain their love and prioritizing their love over the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, لا تتخذوا عدوي وعدوكم أولياء تلقون إليهم بالمودة وقد كفروا بما جاءكم من الحق. O you who believe, do not take my enemies and yours as trusted allies, showing them affection even though they have disbelief and deny in that which came to you of the truth. So let's honor ourselves as Muslims and honor the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and honor the boundaries of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by maintaining them. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, وَمَن يُعَظِّمْ حُرُمَاتِ اللَّهِ فَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَهُ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِ. And whosoever honors and respects the boundaries of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is better for him in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَأُحِلَّتْ لَكُمُ الْأَنْعَامُ إِلَّا مَا يُتْلَى عَلَيْكُمْ فَاجْتَنِبُوا الرِّجْسَ مِنَ الْأَوْثَانِ وَاجْتَنِبُوا قَوْلَ الزُّورِ. And at the end, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, so shun and stay away from the impurity of idolatry and stay away from the words and the statements of falsehood. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep us steadfast upon His deen. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to put in our hearts the ta'zeem, the reverence and the honor and the respect for His deen, for it to be manifested in our hearts. and in our life. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us our sins and our shortcomings and our negligence. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the good of this world and the good of the hereafter, and to protect us from the fire of hell. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك. ربنا اغفر لنا ولوالدينا وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب. ربنا أفرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. ربنا أفرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. وصلى الله على نبينا محمد